recapping day 2 of whatever you want to call this, because free agency doesn't start till tomorrow, but recapping some moves we made and some moves that might get made. What is up, Finn fans? So far, I think we've been having a pretty solid free agency. We've added some players that I like, some that have some upside. This is going to be real interesting. So in this video, we're going to talk about the players we signed today and got you a little update on Jaylen Phillips, a player that we've met with, someone that's going to get cut. We're going to look at players that are left and who the Dolphins could potentially target, and a bunch of good stuff. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out a new sponsor, and I am very proud to be working with this sponsor because this sponsor takes care of something that has been a pain in my butt for a very long time. Let's check out Aura. I'd like to thank Aura for sponsoring today's video. Don't you hate spam calls? I get them constantly from different places that I've never been to in my entire life. And if you're tired of getting spam calls, if you're tired of all of this online nonsense, Aura is for you. Data brokers sell your info to robocalls and more to make a profit off of you. Aura identifies the data brokers and submits an opt-out request on your behalf. These data brokers legally, when they get these requests, have to get rid of your information. But knowing that, they make it incredibly difficult to do. So why don't you let Aura do it for you? Aura also protects your family from online threats, whether it's identity theft, whether it's credit card theft, all of these different things Aura helps you with. You get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parent controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download tons on tons on tons of different apps. It's easy to set up and you get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of protecting you online while you focus on other tasks with peace of mind. All you got to do is click the link in the description and you start your 14-day trial of Aura. So why not sit back and have that peace of mind that your identity, your information is safe, and try Aura. Again, Aura, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. For real, guys, though, if you are tired of dealing with robocalls, and if your robocalls essentially telemarketers or like, hey, your car insurance, check out Aura. Click the link in the description. You get 14 days free. Check it out. It's going to have VPN, all this cool stuff. It's a godsend because I hate robocalls. I get phone calls from like California all the time. Check it out. Links in the description, and I'll pin it at the top of the comments. 14 days free. Just try it. Cost you nothing. You just click on it. You sign up. Free 14 days. Go check it out. So now we're going to jump into this and we're going to talk about a few football things. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. is the official start of free agency. So that's when all of these signings and all this other stuff becomes official. Pen to paper. You get all the the Twitter images and all that stuff of, hey, blah, 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 this and that. Fun fact, most of the Dolphins signings could become official right now because they are free agents. They are not unrestricted free. They're not unrestricted free agents where their contract is expired. One last thing I want to show you guys before we get into kind of recapping today, and that is this. This is an image. This is Jaylen Phillips working out, and you could see #NoLimp. Walking fine. And then he does this exercise where he walks on his tippy toes. Little exercise walking on his tippy toes, working on that Achilles. So again, you're looking, no limp. No limp. So fingers crossed, man. He might be back by like week 2. We might have that man on the field week 2. He's so far ahead of where I expected him to be at this point. Like I said, when we saw him at the Dolphins Challenge Cancer event, he was looking good. He was looking good. So it's going to be very interesting to see his progress. But again, the addition of Shaquille Barrett definitely helps that situation. So let's recap what happened today. So, like I said, the Dolphins signed Shaquille Barrett. I like the move. I think it's a very good move. It's that stopgap. In my opinion, it's the stopgap from Jaylen Phillips is healthy, Bradley Chubb is healthy. Boom, we got Shaquille Barrett to help there. And I showed you guys, if you want to go check out earlier today's video, I showed you guys how he has just consistently been productive, especially as a pass rusher. Do I think they're done? No, I don't think they're done. I think they're going to add one more pass rusher, if not through free agency, definitely through the draft. If you want to know more about that, go check out the Patreon. I put a video out yesterday giving you guys a little bit of insider information, also my thoughts on what we could be doing at the pass rusher section. The link is in the description if you want to join the Patreon and see the special videos that are going on over there. So there's that. Then, as I'm live on the AFC East Roundtable, the Miami Dolphins go out and they sign Jordan Poyer and blew my socks away. Now, again, Jordan Poyer is another vet who has been consistently good. These past 3 seasons, he's been consistently good, and he only had 1 season where he missed a bunch of games. I think it wasn't last year's, the year before that. He missed like 4 games. Outside of that, he has played 16-game seasons. Like, real reliable, and the Dolphins are adding these vets as a nice crossover to the younger guys. Now, this defense is going to run 3 safety sets, so Poyer's not the last safety we're going to add, so it's going to be very, very interesting how all that pans out. But I like the Poyer sign. It surprised the heck out of me because I know last offseason he was at the combine and he was golfing with Tua and he was saying how much he'd want to come and be in Miami, and then it didn't happen. He went back to Buffalo and we're all like, he used us, da da da. So when he became a free agent again, I talked about it in passing. I didn't think it was going to happen. Well, it happened. So we have Jordan Poyer. Another move that happened is the Dolphins are re-signing Salvon Ahmed. Now, the official number of his contract and the official pen to paper hasn't happened yet, but it's a 1-year deal to bring him back. I don't hate it. I hope they don't just kind of stick with the same running situation we had last year. Not necessarily saying it's bad. It's just they can't stay healthy. That's my biggest reason. One of my biggest reasons for getting Derrick Henry. One, short yardage would help drastically, but also having that rotation of those top guys is definitely going to help stay healthy. So I'm hoping they don't run it back again. This will be the 3rd year in a row they run it back with the same running backs, with now the addition of Devon Achane. And then we lost another guy, Rayquan Davis, signed with the Colts, 2 years, $14 million. Not knocking you, Rayquan. You know, do your thing, get your money. I'm all for it with these guys. Go get your cheddar. But $7 million a year for Rayquan Davis? We'll see. Maybe he'll, show up with the Colts. But that's interesting. Chris Kaufman came out with this tweet, right, showing what the Dolphins have spent so far, right? So Shaquille Barrett, $9 million. With incentives. Again, it's up to $9 million. Jordan Brooks, 8.8. Aaron Breyer, $7 million a year. Jonnu Smith, 4.2. Jordan Poyer, $2 million. We're only paying, and that's the other like cherry on the top of that Jordan Poyer signing, is it's only $2 million for 1 year. Like, it's nothing. We don't know what Anthony Walker Jr.'s contract is quite yet. Isaiah Mack, 1.1 million, and Nixon, 1 million. All of that equates to about $34 million for 8 players, whereas Christian Wilkins' contract alone cost $28 million. So for another $6 million, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 additional players off of the money that Christian Wilkins made. Now, again, I would have loved to keep him, but not at $27.5 million. Me personally, I don't think he's necessarily worth $27.5 million. So that's kind of what happened today. It's kind of a recap of what happened today. Now, the Dolphins also met with defensive back Siren Neil, who was with Buffalo, big special teamer. we moved on from Keon Crossen so he can come in and help us there if they decide to sign him. I would be for that. It'd probably be, again, a cheap contract, maybe $1 to $2 million deal. Here's the thing also, right? We're making these signings: Shaquille Barrett, Jordan Brooks, Aaron Brewer, Jonnu Smith, Anthony Walker Jr., Jordan Poyer, and they're not big splashy like Saquon or Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs or any of these big guys, right? But these are solid guys that will definitely help the Dolphins play and win. But don't think that this is just going to be the end of it, right? Because what a lot of people forget is that second wave of free agency that happens after the draft. Because we get this first wave where you go out and get the big sexy guys and, this and that. And then, yes, I said it's big sexy guys. And then, you go into the draft with what you didn't get, or you go BPA, best player available. Then after that, if you don't get that, there's still a ton of good, like Jadeveon Clowney was available last year, and there were some safeties available last year after the draft. The Dolphins are going to have $18.5 million after the draft on June 2nd. Also, if the Dolphins restructure and give Tua a contract extension, they'll probably have like another $12 million, $13 million on top of that. So after the draft, the Miami Dolphins are going to be sitting there with like $31 million in cap space to be like, all right, well, we need to add players. We need to add offensive linemen. Oh, this guy's available. This guy's this, and that. So don't think just because they're sitting around waiting now that they're not going to continue to look, because they're getting a buttload of money after the draft. Another thing, the Raiders have announced that tomorrow they're going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo. And I was kind of one for, and I think I talked about this, unless I talked about it on the Patreon, which if I did, here you go, you little Patreon teaser. I wouldn't be against bringing Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup. Like, again, I still am very uneasy about if Tua can stay healthy. I'm going to knock on some wood, because he did. He stayed healthy this entire season. I was very happy that he did that. Want him to continue to work on that, continue to do that, and put that whole narrative to bed and just consistently play like Eli Manning, where he was just constantly available. But there's still that fear in the back of my head. So I want a backup that's competent enough to be able to come in and win us games. And to me, Mike White's not that, right? He couldn't do it with the Jets. He ain't going to do it with us. I think Skyler can do it, but it really took him. He didn't win a game until the Jets game, but he didn't really win it. We won by a field goal. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't feel like, but then you got Jimmy Garoppolo, who he'll probably cost nothing because he's already suspended for the first 2 games. He knows the system, all this stuff. I know for a fact that there's going to be, like, if Tua starts to struggle in like week 3 or week 4, I know that there's going to be the people who hate Tua be like, put Jimmy in, Jimmy. And then the reporters are going to do it. I know there's going to be that whole stuff. But as a Dolphin fan, I want to win. So to me, if there is, God forbid, Tua does get hurt, I would feel more comfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo out there than I would Mike White. That's just me. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that real quick. So now let's talk about free agents that are still available after that second wave. Running backs, I don't think they're going to really add a running back. You still got J.K. Dobbins, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Zeke, A.J. Dillon, Alexander Madison, Dalvin Cook is still out there. Imagine they bring in Dalvin Cook. Screw it. Bring in Dalvin Cook. Give him the money you were going to give him last year. Give him less than you were going to give him last year and bring him in. I wouldn't mind bringing in Dalvin Cook. I think he could help. Because he's not going to be expensive. So they might do that now. They might bring in Dalvin this year. That would be absolutely hilarious. Now, we do need wide receivers. We don't have many of them. Supposedly, they're in the works of bringing back Braxton Berrios. I know Devontae Parker signed with the Eagles, which I think is craziness. I'm like looking at the wide receivers right now. I wouldn't be upset bringing in Michael Thomas. They call him this like something slant. Like he runs slants. That's all he runs. have him be that slot guy. Have him that big physical receiver. Calvin Ridley is torn between going back to Jacksonville or not, so I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Marquise Brown, I don't know about him, but they do. I want to add a legit third receiver. I'm like looking at names right now. Like supposedly, like, I don't want Chase Claypool back. Mac Hollins is a legit option. Trent Sherfield. We'll just bring Trent Sherfield back. Like I'm laughing about it, but then on the other hand, I'm like, bring Trent Sherfield back. Jamison Crowder. There's still a lot of receivers, capable receivers left. Tight end, we're good on tight end. Tackle, I told you guys already who I want to bring back at tackle. I want to bring back Kendall Lamb and Isaiah Wynn, especially because, you know, Kendall Lamb did very well when Teron Armstead went down. Isaiah Wynn played very well at left guard before he got hurt. I can even bring in Lael Collins, bring those three guys in, and then, you know, your draft is BPA when it comes to the offensive line. Guard, Dalton Reisner came out and he made a tweet saying, you know, he doesn't ask for much. He didn't ask for the most. He just wants an average guard salary, which is kind of high up there now, Dalton, but he wants a team. But I'm good. I'm kind of good at guard, especially if we bring Wynn back. You can draft one. Center, I'm good with waiting on Connor Williams after the draft. Edge rusher, I would still bring Jadeveon Clowney over. Have Jadeveon Clowney, have Shaq Barrett, and then have that all pan out. So yeah, bring Chase Young. Chase Young, Jadeveon Clowney would be nice. We do need defensive tackles. Eric Armstead. That's who I want. I want Eric Armstead. Will they go out and get him? I don't know. He won't affect the comp because he got cut. So Eric Armstead would be my choice. And then again, you could draft. Corners, you guys know what my thoughts are on corners. Unfortunately, one of the guys, Darius Williams, that I thought, hey, you can go out and get. He signed with the Rams, 3 years, $22.5 million. Tre'Davious White, we could wait on him. He is comfortable with Jordan Poyer. Maybe he can bring him over. That would be hilarious, especially if he's fully healed. J.C. Jackson, I want to be against that. Safety, Justin Simmons is out there. Supposedly he has interest from, I'll tell you who he has interest from, but I said it would be funny if the Dolphins just swooped in and grabbed him. Let me see. Tennessee Titans have interest in Justin Simmons. But Quandre Diggs. So like Quandre Diggs, Justin Simmons, I'd be cool with adding. We add Micah Hyde. How funny would it be if we added Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and we just take their safety duo and face them twice a year with that? That would be absolutely hilarious. I also wouldn't be upset with bringing back Deshaun Elliott. And that's it. That's kind of it with who's left. Comment below. Let me know what you think. What do you guys think about the signings today, the moves today? What do you think about the video of Jaylen Phillips walking with no limp? All that stuff. Comment below. Check out Aura. Like I said, 14 days free. Stops the robocalls for you. Helps you with all your online privacy. Check them out. Free. Link in the description and pin at the top comments. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow with the official start of free agency. But obviously, if there's more news and roster moves, I will make a video. But like usual, stay classy. Offense out.